G'day everyone and welcome to the first episode of Das Hobby House. What is Das Hobby House? Well, think of it as a conversation that's happening at a table adjacent, and you're listening in on the friends that are talking there about cars, food, movies, and then they bring up scale modeling. And you think to yourself, I like those things, I want those guys to be my new best friend. Well, if that's the case, welcome to Das Hobby House.
G'day guys and welcome to the first episode of Das Hobby House. I say first because, well, we've actually done this for quite some time now. We're very experienced at the first episode. I'm Greg.
I'm Jonathan.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Akwan.
And today we've got Andrew as our guest, proprietor of Andrew's Hobbies, from where we are recording this. And he's been very gracious in allowing us to record upstairs. So say hello, Andrew.
Hello, Andrew.
How
are we?
How are you?
I'm great. Good to be here. Good to be part of it. So,
yes. So tell us a little bit more about yourself in the shop.
tell us about myself in the shop. Well, the shop's a rather large shop, 500 square factory. I've been doing this in this factory for just on 6 years, and been trading for nearly 20 years.
20 years.
And it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So all we can do is improve and provide and make it a comfortable and a good learning environment for a lot of people. And that's what we aim to do.
And whereabouts are you right now?
We are in Ravenhall. Ravenhall is 20 k's west of the Melbourne CBD, just off the Western Highway. 2639 Yukonbean Drive. Which, if anyone knows where it is, it's right near Bunnings. So,
and before here,
we used to be upstairs above a chemist with horrible steps.
I remember that.
And they were very, very hard, and my knees are really thankful that we've moved to a ground floor unit.
In the before time.
In the before time, yes, BC. Before
in the upside down.
Yeah, in the upside down world, exactly.
You always get a workout before you get to Andrew's back in the park area.
Yeah, and that's why we had a fridge with drinks at the very top.
Work up the sweat by the time you get there.
Yes.
To greet the weary welcomer.
Yes, that's us.
Welcome traveller.
And the good thing about this place is, like, we've all been through model shops.
Yep.
And you go in there and all you see is just shelves after shelves of models. Whereas this one, you come in here and you could see the community building models and things like that.
The spray booths and the slot cars.
Yeah, the tables are pretty much set up. As soon as you walk in, tables are there, which is like the first welcoming thing that you see.
Yeah.
So
it's a different dynamic to other model shops where the first thing you see is just tables, and it's like a welcoming to, come in here and do whatever you want.
Yeah, sit down and start building.
And actually, it's actually been your heart to actually sell second and build a community first, hasn't it?
Well, it has. We don't actually want a shop. We want a venue for people to come to, and we don't I'm not going to mention other stores, but a lot of stores, not just hobby shops, will, as soon as they get the money off you, they'll hand you your change, then they turn their back on you. We would rather talk to you, find out what you're doing, find out how you're doing it, learn from you. And if we learn something from you guys, we can then pass on to someone else who's learning. And that's what we try and do, try and improve everyone's skills and go from there. I've learnt totally different techniques since we've been trading here. It's been good fun, good learning curve, and I can't say I'll never look back. When people say, have you made a mistake in life? Yes, I have, not starting this a lot earlier.
That's really
I should have really started a lot earlier in life, not now, but yeah.
And what you've made here is a hobby community.
Yes.
Which is fantastic, because anyone can come here and do whatever.
Yeah, exactly right.
You definitely feel comfortable when you come here. You definitely feel at ease. It's not, you don't have anyone to impress or anything. It's,
I think that's the aim.
But people are definitely comfortable. You could be sitting there and next thing you know, someone's like, hey, man, can you help me with this? Or just everyone just feels you can have your conversation, but it just so happens that it involves everyone else in the room.
That's right.
It's like people just jump in. Like the other week we were sitting there having a chat. Next thing you know, we've made like 3 new friends. Everyone's just jumping in, and then everyone's just, because you're at a table, so you can't really just not listen to the next table.
Yeah.
It's like, like that guy was saying, I can't help it here. Because we're so close to each other.
Usual introduction here. It's like, hi, how are you? Hi.
Hey,
there's none of that.
I couldn't help but over here, you have a very, very loud conversation. It's like it's harder to have conversations because we're just the loudest people in the room.
You guys aren't loud. Yeah. Just a large echo in the building. That's all it is. Yeah.
Actually, Jeff, you've got one of your first memories of actually interacting.
Yes. I remember back in 2015, I was coming here and, well, not here. It was in the D Park shop.
Yep.
And I showed you this F4F Wildcat. And you said, I'm going to take this to Model Expo. And the first thing I said was, what Model Expo? I didn't know, right? So he took it on that weekend, and I came in on a Sunday, and I was just amazed that this is happening. This is something that I've never seen before. And then, I didn't get any place because obviously I didn't have any reference materials or anything like that.
And they didn't know.
Yeah. Reference material.
But that made me do better the next year and the next year and the next year until
the last year this year I should say, where you failed dismally.
Actually, you had all the reference in the world.
Great disappointment to us.
Yeah, well, you can't win them all.
That was the first expo you didn't win first, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it would help if you entered in like the right category.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you got to give context to it.
Yeah.
But it was,
you entered
straight out of the box.
Yeah, I put too much things on this aircraft, and I thought I'd get away with it, but I didn't.
It was brilliant, actually. It was
my fault.
Well, technically speaking, you did take the kit out of the box.
And you could that'd make a good argument.
Yeah, you can.
But yeah, look,
Your Honor.
I wouldn't have known about Model Expo if I didn't go to Andrews, and that's why this place holds a very special place for me. Because this is where it all started for me, where I started taking modelling seriously. And if it wasn't for him...
Wow, that was only 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
First time I actually had a model with instructions and I followed it, and I just,
So you didn't build as a kid?
Oh, I did, but it wasn't like serious. I was using con tips and Humbrol tin paints to paint.
Yeah.
And it was a MiG-25 Foxbat. So the time that I took the model to Andrew, that was when I started taking models seriously, following the instructions, the paints and all that sort of stuff. So,
you actually told me the story about about when you came here, and it was actually Andrew that referred you over to another hobby shop.
And I thought that's strange because you go to other shops and they're like, oh no, we'll hold it for you. You just buy it from us. But Andrew and Sue, they were like, oh, go to the other shop, they'll have it. And I'm like, oh wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's rare, isn't it?
Yeah, very rare.
And Andrew, actually, I was asking you. We've had many conversations off air. And I've actually asked you, look, we're actually planning to have a podcast soon, and I was wondering if I can get your blessing to bring other people in here.
Of course.
From other rivals hobby shops, or maybe even some guys who run their stuff online.
Other stores doesn't bother at all. As long as you people have got what you're after. Mm-hmm. It's all about supply, not greed.
And it's about promoting the whole industry too, isn't it? Right. You're trying to get more people into it and encourage that.
Yep. And if you provide for people are going to keep coming back and go, oh, I remember that bloke. He actually recommended somewhere else, but I'll go back there. We get guys travelling 40, 50, 60 kilometres to come here. Mm. And not just – and today we've got guys coming from Wonga Park, which is 73 k's away, just to race slot cars. Mm. And they do it on a regular basis, and they just really enjoy being here. Mm-hmm. That's what it's all about. It's just the environment is what we want to try and create.
What is it? It's funny, like the last time we were here, and you called upon a few of us to come over and judge for your slot cars, and it's just like, oh, okay, and we get up and have an opinion as to what car we thought was the best. And
you didn't judge my one. That's all right. Disappointed with that. I put a whole day's effort into building that car.
It was close. It was a close call, actually. It was you and the other one, but unfortunately.
And for those who haven't been to Andrews, you go in here and it's not just scale modelling; it's also slot car racing. There's drag slot car racing as well.
Yes,
and people painting Gunpla.
Yeah, Gunpla.
And you got us who are, tank and aircraft models. So,
Warhammer figurines.
Yeah, Warhammer. And there's even a lady here who was doing a school project.
Yes.
Yep. And she just needed help, and
first time she's actually touched anything modelling or diorama or anything.
That's why I call it the Hobby Central.
That's what I noticed also when we were here. Someone was asking advice with the spray painting and that, and Andrew was there offering advice to this person, giving them some tips and whatnot, and they obviously don't have this kind of
access to.
He gave him a lot of help.
Yeah. Well, just last night we had a gentleman walk in carrying a small child and said, "Oh, I think my airbrush has got a bit of a problem." I just took it, cleaned it, put it all back together, got it all working, and he says, "How much do I owe?" I said, "Don't bother." That's the sort of service we want to offer. Is just that tiny little bit to get you back on track again. That's all. And anyone who buys an airbrush kit or anything like that, we run them through a basic lesson. So they've got the basics, how to clean it, how to maintain it, and things like that. And then if they come here and they work, we just sort of refine a few techniques and just get them more involved and just bring them to the next level. And one of the biggest things we've got here is no one is allowed to talk down to someone. You're encouraged or you don't talk at all. And
Fantastic.
That's great.
that's sort of the good way of looking at it. And people are much more comfortable having someone showing you how they do things instead of saying, "Oh, you've done it wrong. You've done it wrong." No, if you do it wrong, you get disheartened. So
well, exactly. I mean, that's how I feel with this group. Meeting these boys. That's the positive reinforcement from Jeff and from Greg and Aqua. It makes you feel so inclusive, and it feels like there's no wrong way to do something. There's just different ways to do something.
Yeah, I think that's very important. I mean, I was actually watching a YouTube video of someone that I actually respect, and without like any kind of warning or anything like that, he just starts talking down on Tamiya kids and calling it like it's something for monkeys to start building up on. And I thought, well, that's to me is like the gateway.
It's a foundation.
Yeah,
it's a great foundation for
it's
monkeys.
like, it's too easy to build. It's like there's no challenge or anything like that. And I thought, well, just calm down. We're not all going to start putting resin into stuff. And
to a beginner, it is a challenge. Who's never built the model before? It is a big challenge.
Yeah. Did you run before you started to walk? That's the way I look at it.
That's a great analogy.
Yep.
And some of their kits are actually really enjoyable to build. They're fun. There's nothing. Yes, okay. Some are very basic and not a huge part count, but some are actually really fun to build. And and sometimes you just want to do a reasonably quick build. You don't want to bed down for a
for me, it's like the chicken corn soup. Like you get stuck behind a dragon or a Ryefield model with full interior, and the first thing I want to do is like, I just need something to run back to and just whip out in the night, and then that's it. It's
coming off the back, I did 2 dragons. They were like the first dragon kits I did. That Panzer 3 and the Stug, and then it was like, it'd be great. A Tamiya kit from like the 70s. It was done in like 2 hours. It was
during an ad break.
Yeah, during an ad break, it's like, it's done. I was like, it was nice to not struggle. It's like I enjoy building. Yeah. Sometimes I want a challenge, but I do it for fun.
Yeah. And you get straight to the painting and the weathering. So if you're into that kind of thing, you just crack out.
Well, it's also, it is good for that too. So you want to do a quick build so you can concentrate more on learning the techniques of painting and weathering. They're a great platform, a great thing for that. But sometimes some of these dragon kits, you invest so much time in it, you don't want to experiment on them. You want to get your technique right before you possibly
and
stuff it up.
If you're PE phobic, then to me it's perfect for you.
Yeah, but like for $30, it's like $30 and I get the full experience. Whereas I get to do it all. It's like you can put aftermarket, but it's like I get to build, paint, weather for $30. Like how many hours of entertainment can you get for $30 anywhere else? Yeah. And compared to like I can get a drag and I can go bigger and better, but then it's just like it'd be great. $30.
It'll be great. No PE.
No PE. Tracks on a rubber, like not having band track. That was the worst day because like a week ago doing ISO, it was just like the only thing I have left on both these tanks is tracks.
That's what you leave off.
That's it. That's all I had. So then
I love magic tracks.
I had a magic track one, but I'm like, great, you've saved me having to cut it. I still have to glue it together. Yeah. And like the rubber tracks, man, and the weather. That's the point of weathering. It's supposed to look.
Unless you're doing a Sherman, I love magic tracks. I hate the tracks on the Sherman.
Hang on, for those who don't know what magic track is, what is it?
Oh, it's usually with dragon kits. For no other better way of describing it, it's individual track links that you have to put together piece by piece.
Oh, those things.
Yeah, so basically a tank like, I don't know, that little Mark III there would have 90 odd links on each side. So it's 180.
Yeah, but that Mark IV is rubber tracks.
Oh, yeah, so it's basically just warm up a screwdriver, melt it, bosh, there you go.
Or if it's covered by the fenders, you just staple it together.
That a boy.
Yeah. None of this melting. And then you stuff it up and then it turns out crooked.
I just staple it.
Yeah, I staple mine if you can't see them. Or if it gets like kind of messed up, you just hide it somewhere top, bottom, where no one looks,
See, kids, there is more ways to skin a cat.
Yeah, so we're actually currently doing a group build, aren't we? A Stug group build.
We wrapped it up yesterday, I think.
Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah, for those
wrapped up's a loose term.
Yeah.
It's a very loose term.
Starting.
Yeah.
Some people finished, some people didn't.
Some people didn't even get the box open. So.
Yeah, but only one person's actually... Have you finished yours yet?
No, technically no.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
no.
Technically mine is together.
Yeah, it's together. Look, mine, I still have to finish weathering it. We've only got one person that finished it, and they're like 20 minutes late, and I'm like, you're like at least
out.
4 days early,
20
bro.
minutes.
You're still 4 days early. Well, I had a whole week in ISO, and I got almost done. So it's But what you did, because you did winter, you did fancy track.
Yeah, I did. It's a bit of internal stuff. I'm and in amongst that, building a garage at home and things like that. So I had a lot of distractions plus work. So trying to fit it all in was definitely a challenge.
What's that, Dragon?
It's a Dragon kit with winter kit and tracks, and and the only problem I have with it is that there's certain things that I was feeling the pressure and rushing on, and that's pressure I put on myself. But then I take a moment, sort of staring at it and whatnot, and I go, "Oh my god, I completely forgot to do this or do that." And it's like, overall, I'm happy with it. It's not, it's not.
How about you, Greg? How's your build going?
So Andrew,
just off the track there.
Technically finished. It was technically finished.
It wasn't a Stuka, was it? It was a Nashorn?
It was a Nashorn, so it's convertible Stug.
Okay.
As I've classified
It's got the top down.
Yeah, it's a topless Stug. It just needed a topless bit. So
you're trying to say you haven't taken off the sprue yet?
That's
Pleading innocent, pleading guilty.
No.
Objection hearsay.
Objection. Okay.
But look, without having the group build, for me, I find it's a good motivator. Otherwise, I'm like, you know what else I could do? Anything else. And then it's like, hey, let's do a group. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah. And then we come here and we hang out, and then I'm building, and then I'm going to go home, and then I'm going to build, and then I get to the rest of my life, and I just somewhere else off.
That's one of the good things about having group builds. It's like when you're actually new to the hobby, that's one of the first things like I encourage everyone to do is to get into get onto Facebook, find yourself a group, right? Or when you go and visit a hobby shop to buy, a paintbrush and walk out with 6 kits later and all the rest of it, you could actually ask the guy behind the counter, is there a group of which you know of which I can join?
And we offer the assistance. We also say to people, welcome to come back if you have troubles with anything. And we've had a couple of young kids come back and, I'm having troubles putting this on and having troubles with this. Right. And all of a sudden they come back and then, I want to put all the little slidey, stickery things on there. I went, good. That's the exact words he called them. Adorable. And he says, how am I supposed to put those on? I said, well, there's multiple different ways you can put those on. I said, there's a right way and there's a wrong way. And I said, no one's ever got it right yet. And he says, what do you mean by that? I said, well, what have you got? He says, I think it says I've got to put them in water. And I said, I better go and have a close look at that. And they're actually peel and stick. And I thought, oh, you poor lad, you actually cut them and soaked them in water and now you can't get them off. Oh, you poor lad. So we had to resurrect that and make them stick to his, I can't remember if it was an airplane or a car or something like that he had. And I said, do you know what? Let's just do it the other way. We'll mask it up and we'll paint a number on the side of it and we'll do it like that. And he says, can you do that? I said, yeah. I said, not only that, I said, the aeroplane needs to have little red tips on your propellers and little red nose. Let's do that too. So I got the airbrush out and showed him how to do that. He says, oh, is it that easy? I said, yeah, it is. And 3 kits later, he's actually spraying and airbrushing his own kits now. So
I haven't looked back since that day.
You haven't looked back. That's
Thanks,
right.
Mate.
It's all about evolving.
And I appreciate that.
Yep.
I appreciate he didn't drop my name once.
Yes, that's right. So I don't name drop. It's all right.
But another thing here is that all this time we've been coming here for various group builds and things like that. Like we're just interacting we're in our own little world here. And all of a sudden, I get talking to you and then all of a sudden you mentioned that the 2 people to the other table are actually judges at the expo.
Model Expo, yes.
Yeah, and when you the moment you mentioned that, my whole attitude changed. I was like, okay,
it's like, hey,
how do I sit? How do I sit in front of them? How do I do I address them as madam or do I sir or do I curtsy? Do I bow? What do I do? What happens?
Do I buy them a drink? Do I go make a coffee? Can I make a coffee, sir? No, they don't do that. Don't have to do that.
Wash your car.
Yeah. Now these guys, when they are in here, they had a look over my piece of armour today, and had a good look at it. He says, oh, that's all right. And I said, well, I know there's not many items actually in the 1 to 87 scale. And he says, no, not many people are stupid enough to build things that small. He says, but I know you are. So I build those sort of things, and I've got another 8 or 9 pieces to do, so I might have 8 or 9 pieces. I might have a chance of getting a trophy.
My eyes hurt.
They do.
I look at that.
You've actually got on the table there, and I'll take photos of it and upload it for your reference, guys, on the interwebs. You've built, for no other way better to describe it, you've built something and put it onto a piece of cork, cork out of a bottle.
A Moe Shandon at that.
Yes.
And can you describe what it is that I'm looking at that is so tiny?
It is a 187 scale 101 howitzer.
Wow.
And when you pull it out of the little box, it's got 3 pieces of paper in there, and none of the interrogations on there makes any form of influence or strength or anything like that. So I thought I'll modify it slightly and glue this here, glue that there. No. Let's drill a few little holes here and actually make it so it's articulated, so it actually works. Cannon swings left to right and up and down as well. And they're out of the packet, they're not supposed to, but that's how far I go. Then if you want to see some of the other stuff I work on is 1 to 20 scale. I do a lot of small buildings, and when I do the buildings, there is grass in the spoutings and there is power lines going to them. And a 2-story building is 12 mil by 16 mil square. Right. That's all they are. And if you don't put the detail in, it's not worth doing. So
I did introduce you to a friend of ours, David Horrigan.
Yeah, she's got small hands, or it's not easy doing things with big sausage fingers, but I've tried, and that's the fun of it. He's trying to do that. So
that explains the grey hair, I reckon.
Oh yes, no, that's weathering. That's weathering.
That's weathering. Yeah.
Yes.
Happy 27th birthday, by the way.
Thank you very much.
The great thing about this is the cork actually shows you the size.
Scale. Gives you the scale.
Yeah, the scale.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes when you take a photo, it's like, oh yeah, how big is it? But when you put it right to a cork,
the fish I caught was this.
Yeah, I'm actually going to do another one soon, and it's actually be sitting behind a fence with long grass, and the grass will all have the blast, so it'll all be leaning away, so you've got the actual effect of the blast. So that's
what size cork's that?
Won't be on a cork, this one. It'll be a few other bits and pieces, but got a few other little things in the pipeline at the moment, small scale as usual.
That's incredible, absolutely incredible.
So I also noticed you got a lot of planes hanging from the ceiling, but there's not much in the way of...
We don't do remote control. Yeah. We find that's just a plug-and-play game, and I pull out a box, I flew it. A successful remote control planes means you can reuse it. So you actually got it to land, but 90% of planes don't land. They plummet. And I'd rather not sell things like that. One, I don't have the after-sales service on it, and two, they're rather pricey and you don't get your return customers. Where this way, you're learning about what you're doing. You're doing different things. You're wasting time. If you're locked up in ISO, you've got 7 days or whatever it is this week, 7 days to sit there and build a model kit. And you can do all that sort of stuff where remote control plane, I've got to wait for the right weather. No, it's too windy today, I can't do this. It's too dangerous. And all the rules and regulations keep changing with it. So... Stay away from that.
You do a lot of train stuff.
Do a lot of model trains. 90% of what the model trains is diorama, so we sort of concentrate on a lot of that. And as you can see, I do the diorama side of things. So, and if anyone says you've done a diorama wrong, well, you need to find me some more evidence to say how I'm supposed to do it.
I'm sure they're out there.
Oh, they're out there. Don't worry.
The rivet counters.
Yeah. Since you play with trains, yes, they're rivet counters. Yes. I remember one of the trains actually came out and they've picked it up and they've looked at it and they've gone, they've made a mistake with that.
It's too small.
No, not too small. The actual fans on the top of the train were facing the wrong way, so it was actually blowing air in. Yes. And I said, how can you work that out? Oh, we know that they spin that way. They're wrong. And the door handle's too low. It's 4 rivets away from the window. I thought, you know what? I think you need to get a hobby. You need to try something else that's not going to offend other people.
So how do you deal with rivet counters?
Would you like a coffee? I just walk away and make a coffee.
That's brilliant.
So you might notice I do drink a lot of coffee.
And it's gold.
Yes, and that's why I have a wife. I just handball. And I'll let her deal with those sort of problems. So,
she is a gem.
Oh, yeah, she's good value. That's why I've kept her.
Well, she's kept you.
Yeah, she kept me.
She's a diplomat. She should work for the UN.
Someone's got to keep me under control.
See, but then how's that work when, building community and then you have someone that's like, it could come from a good place where it's like, we do care about, the detail and like that's the whole point.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Compared to like someone that's like, nah, you're trying to tear down.
Argue their point.
Exactly. It's that weird balance.
It's a fine balance,
It's like, I could take it the wrong way where it's like, but who cares, man? It's only this bit. And it's like, yeah, but that's the whole point. That's why you do. Me, I do because I like it's fun. It's fun. Use my hands, do something. I'm not just on a screen. I'm not that. It's nice now compared to where I started to be like, it'd be cool. Detail. I'm not at that point where it's 4 rivets is wrong, but it's like in a community, and have that balance where someone's
you're looking for the next challenge, aren't you, too?
Yeah.
Mate, see, is that the thing? Where's it come from? It's like they're at the top. It's like, this is our challenge now. It's got to be so accurate. Whereas us, it's like, it'd be nice. Winter camo. That's where we're at. That's our challenge.
Well, that's the sort of thing about getting down that rabbit hole of YouTube videos and that. Sometimes you feel pressure, especially for a beginner, coming in and seeing some of the quality of some of these builders and feeling almost that pressure you put on yourself. Why can't I do this? Why can't I do this? Because you're not there yet. Yeah.
No.
Start here. Start simple. These things will come to you, but you don't feel like you've got to meet at this level, because you're not there. It's not a bad thing, but
we've all got to start somewhere.
Yeah,
we've all got to start somewhere.
The heart of Dust Hobby House is basically to cater for the people who are beginning,
that's right,
or the people who are coming back from the hobby after a long hiatus and discovering, that hey, there's a thing called a career and girlfriends and cars and all the rest of it.
A life.
A life, yes. A life.
Yes.
So, so basically, at the very crux of who we are and what we do, we are trying to cater for the people who haven't gone to the rivet counter status yet.
Looking at one of our tanks over there with an esky on the back of it, so I think that shows the alcoholic side of the war.
That's true.
I do love that bit. That's that form of detail that I like looking at, and that's to me that takes your eyes away from let's count the wheels. There's not enough. Who cares? There's an esky on.
What do you mean, mate? The rest of that tank's perfect. There's nothing wrong with it.
I actually thought it was a supercar. So I saw the esky on the back. The esky got my attention. That's where I stopped. Okay,
it's a fine barn.
Yes. But that's the way I look at it. And I look at some of these YouTube videos and watching that, and I think there is something absolutely missing from every one of them I've seen, and that is a clock in the corner of it that shows you how long they spent working on it.
Yeah.
And also a calendar to show how many days they worked on it, because it's a 30-second video, and you think, you finished it that quick. And all the younger people go, why can't I do mine that quick? And they lose interest, and it goes back in the box, sit in the corner, work out what you've done wrong, and then come out again.
Back in the box.
Yes, back in the box. That's a whole other episode for you guys, isn't it?
That is a segment to come.
Yes.
So keep an eye on that.
That's just a life story.
That is one episode.
That's my strange addiction,
Yes.
It's like, hey, I like putting things back in the box.
Yes. I'll start that addiction for you now. I have about 8 model kits that have gone back in the box.
Amateur.
Because I haven't quite worked out what they've done wrong.
That's amateur compared to Greg's status.
Yeah, I do 8 a day.
Yeah.
My beer, 8 back in the box.
See, but mine are all back in the box because they have to be painted. Painting's like, for me, painting is where it's like, all right, here we go.
That's it. That's the line.
I could build all day. I could sit there build.
I actually got another display cabinet at home just for the stuff that needs to be painted because of the dust and all that, and I don't want to have to clean them all for it.
Who cleans?
But I learnt my lesson from that. They used to just sit on the shelf. Now they go back in the box, and I have a stack. So it's but you can't just leave a little gap. The dust gets in there, and then you have to actually close the box. It's a stack.
I've got a boneyard.
What do you live next to? You're on a dirt road or something.
It's part of the weathering.
It's part of the weathering.
Yeah, it's part of the weathering.
These ones, look, that's like 2 years of bedroom dust there. But you don't want that, and then it's like, I've got to paint it now.
Yeah, my stick over there's got like 4 years of garage dirt.
Yeah, but that's been painted.
That's with a curse, man. Look at it.
But that's got like brown dust. This is like some weird
kind
of white dust.
That's real.
Hey man, we don't do real dirt here, all right?
I think that's another subject again, isn't it?
I think
we'll cross that bridge again. We'll circle back to that.
Yeah,
we will circle back to that. Don't worry about that.
That was an evolution. I never knew pigments was a thing until someone was like, "Did you know you can get fake dirt?" I'm like, "What do you mean,
stale dirt?"
But like, there's something about real dirt that gives it that realistic look. Right? Yeah. It's just people would rather spend money on fake dirt to create fake, real dirt.
But that was the thing. I saw this one guy on YouTube, and he makes stuff bigger, and like he'll take like toys and like repaint them and make them look mad, and does cosplay stuff. But he uses real dirt, and I'm like, well, it looks fine to me. It looks,
but that's a lot of technique to get that to work. And
hey, man, I could learn that in a day.
Yeah, sure you can.
See, but no, that's the challenge. I'll take it on. As well, when we did the plane group build. Because I'm not really planes. It's the first plane I've finished, third I've started. So it was like, you know what? Why not do PE cockpit? Never again. Never again. And I was like, change the way I do my weathering, do the whole mottling thing. I was like, I've heard these things, so I'm like, why not try? What's the worst they could do? It could just be another unfinished kit.
And that's on our Facebook, isn't it? Facebook site.
Yeah.
It's a green Japanese. What was it called? KI something.
The KI Dyna 3 Japanese reconnaissance plane.
Yeah.
I think it's the only Japanese plane there. So if you go over to Instagram and look up Das Hobby House.
Yeah. Should be there.
HAUS.
You can't see the photo edge, but it's there.
Yeah, no, hey.
But believe us, it's there.
Hey, man. It's in there.
It's in there.
Yeah, but that's what everyone says. Everyone's like, yeah, but you know it's there. But
Yeah.
I don't care. I want everyone else to know it's there.
Now everybody knows it's there.
Well, now, you better know it's there. Just know that in there is a PE cockpit with the tiniest pieces. But hey, man, but the PE is worth like as much as a kit,
if not more.
It's ridiculous.
That's what gets me. I'm like, is it because it's metal? Is it because you're really catering? It's like you really want it. You know you want the detail. Pay for it.
I don't know why they call it PE. They should call it foul language. Because that's what it ends up coming out as, isn't it? Some of it, yes.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Some of it I really enjoy, and some of it yes. There is, as you said, there's an R-rated version of the profanity that follows.
I think that in itself is going to be a podcast that we're going to have to come back to because at what point is it not modeling anymore when you can buy an entire cockpit? That's just PE. It's like, hey, what's the point of painting? Where's the painting? Where's the weathering? Where's the things that make a kit a kit? Where's the thing that makes a model a model? If you're just going to buy something and just go, there's your cockpit.
See, but that's when you get into like resin.
Yeah,
and it's like large resin,
and that's completely kind of done.
And it's like, well, if you want to paint and stuff,
you can still paint that though.
Yeah,
I'm talking about cockpits that like all the dials already printed on the thing, and all the switches are raised, and all the rest.
What do you mean? What you really want to paint all the dials? Put a little clear dot on every single.
Yes.
See, well, I was going to say, not for me, but
I do.
Oh, do you?
Yes, because I'm that kind of guy.
Yeah, but what some PEs, like when you get to stuff on like that one, how you scratch built yours, some kits come with that as PE.
Do they?
Well, not other boxes. Oh, yeah, that came with it.
And what I love about that is I looked at Greg's one, and he's done the same, but it's not like you can go. They were all just built in the field. There was never one the same. And I watched a ton of videos on YouTube recently on them, and not one of them was the same. They were all so different depending on where they were, what materials they could get hold of. So you did the expectation that it's not built, you know.
The famous question we get asked here is, what colour should I paint it? Whatever colour you want. What do you mean by that? Well, when was it produced? Was it early in the war, late in the war? Because they watered the paint down because they run out of paint.
Yeah, well, the Russians was saying just recently that what green? You know, like
it's not the green. The green's actually got a blue base to it, and you're certain it just washes off.
But there was depending on where you were in Russia and depending on what time it was, there was so many different shades of green for Russian tanks.
Yeah, but looking for the reference, there's this one site, and they're like, at this point in the war, they changed it from this color to this color, and everyone came out of the factory with this color, and then after that, they changed it to this. So it's like, at least for German, that reference is there. It's like it was this color because they ran out, and it was used on all these tanks until this time. And then even for the Panzer III, the Africa one I'm doing, they're like, it was this one.
Yep.
It was just that one.
Yep.
And then I'm like looking for it, and I'm like, to me, it doesn't have one called that. They've got desert.
It was this one or nothing at all.
And I'm like, and then it's like, how do you make it? And you see some other ones, it's like, that's a cool color. And they're like, oh, yeah, it's 2 parts this, 1 part that, 1 part that. And I'm like,
so painting becomes a science.
Yeah.
Yes.
I did that when I did the Merkava 3. I saw one, and they're like, it was a mix of this, and it came with the cool Israeli color. I'm like,
the thing with color accuracy is the moment it comes out of the factory and hits that dirt, it changes the color completely.
Or UV.
Yeah.
You know,
a bit of sun on it, fades
the
straight
moment
away.
the sun hits, it starts fading, and it's a different shade altogether. So trying to get the accurate colors.
Or even,
you can, but...
Or even when you build it and you paint it the right kind of desert yellow or whatever it is, and then the moment you start weathering it, it already changes color.
It depends on the primer as well. What you put under the primer could darken it or lighten it.
And people use that the dot oil thing.
Oil filters, yeah.
You can tell I've never touched it in my life.
Yeah, but what you hear is like, oh, that's too weathered, and they didn't last that long. It's like, well, then how much did it fade in like 3 months in the middle of winter?
Well, like, that's a whole conversation there. Like Russian tanks, what lifespan is a day, 2 days?
Yeah, so they're fully rusted. Heavily rusted.
Yep. As soon as it got out of the factory, it's rusted.
Rust. Automatic rust.
What are you talking about? They were welded together, rusty bits of steel, and there probably was a lot of that actually.
Yeah, but then it's painted. Hey, it's painted a shade of green. You know.
Oh, we need to find ourselves a resident Revit counter who's actually an expert on Russian tanks. We're like, well, actually, it depends on which factory it came out.
What doing the tanks you do, or at least I do, the black and then the white in between the panels, and then over the top of that to get that shading. But I'm just like, is that how things actually look? Because
well, as Greg said to me, sometimes he feels like it's a bit cartoonish in some ways. It's not, whereas, and I agree in some ways because, how long has it been out there that it's getting faded in the middle like that? I mean,
but the middle of every panel.
Yeah.
just the middle.
Yeah.
I think the weirdest interaction we had was at Expo one year. And one of the guys we're at the desk with built the Titanic or the Lusitania.
I think it was the Lusitania.
Okay, but what happened was he painted it gloss, and he actually put it in a scene where the water's, it's cutting through water and all the rest of it. And this fine gentleman came up to him and said, and the ship's it's not actually painted in gloss paint. It's painted in matte paint, so it's not meant to be shiny like that. And then all he said back was, you can see it's in water, right? Water is shiny. Ships will get wet as they're coming through the water, and it will shine. Yes, but you shouldn't have painted it gloss to begin with if you want. And this went on for quite some time. And I was like, okay, cool.
I remember that. Yeah.
You're not invited to our Christmas party.
They're out there, those people, though, aren't they?
Bless them.
That's what
I want one.
Yeah, that's what I say all the young kids. All the young kids when they come here, I just say to them, as you open the box up, you've got instructions in there. I said they're not rules, they're instructions.
That's right.
So you follow the instructions carefully and go from there. And if you're happy with it, end of story. Don't let anyone tell you you've done it wrong. It's the best way of looking at it, and you just feed them full of encouragement. But when you get the old grandpas like that just stood up out of their wheelchair and things like that, they go, I drove one of those back in the days. And no, you didn't, mate. You know what you're talking about. Just how many rivets did they have on the side? And they're like, well, I don't know. Well, you don't know nothing about them. So I just walk away from there on, just wind them up a little bit. It's all about stirring people up and having fun too. And that's making people having fun. That's the most, We've all lost our sense of humour. Just got to get it all back. That's all
that is definitely true lately, and we need to enjoy what we're doing.
Exactly.
We're not building a real tank.
That's right. No. Yes. Our lives don't depend on it. Yeah.
There's not enough rust on them if you're building a real tank. Sorry about that. No bullet holes, no nothing like that. So, or mud. But yeah.
But how good was Model Expo this year?
Oh yeah.
It was great to be back there,
back in the community
after a couple of years of hiatus.
Yeah.
I mean, I was actually craving
being judged.
It was fantastic because, like I said, it was 2 years of the pandemic.
Yeah,
and we really needed to get out there and be with our fellow models,
fellow freaks.
It was funny because that last one was the first one I went to. I took Alexander, and I was sitting at the cafe there, and that was when I sent a post on Facebook modelling group, and Greg sent me a private message, and it said, you might want to have a little look at this, and that's how I ended up meeting you guys, and that was from going there, and I got back into it from buying, I think, one kit from an antique store in Newcastle, Maine, and from that went to the Hobby Expo.
I do that a lot.
And you're a bit of a social
into everyone's DM.
Yes.
It's like, hey man, you doing models?
So this is where it went downhill for you from there.
Yeah, but then and then the bugger was I got really into this hobby, and I actually bought that Yag Panther from that expo, and then we went into lockdown. How many months later? About 4 or 5 months later, we went into lockdown.
Right.
So it was like, it was crazy how it all sort of worked out, But it was lucky for me to get into modelling again after 30 years away from it.
Yeah, but that's a good time to get into it.
That's right, and it was perfect because it got me through lockdown. Was building. Otherwise, I would have gone crazy.
And you've got adult money.
And I've got adult money, and I have a stash.
Grown-up money.
God help me if my wife is listening to this, but
she will be. She will be.
The stash has gotten to the point where
it's
now crept. It doesn't even make it into the house anymore. It gets to the garage and hides holding places in the garage now.
Yeah, man.
We're exactly in the garage, Jonathan.
What's it? What cabinet is it in?
Which cabinet? For people who's listening.
Yeah. So it's gotten the stash has actually gotten crazy, but
But where is it?
So where do you hide it? It's for tips for anyone else out there. Where would you hide it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where would you? Because Greg, you hide yours. Where do you hide? You hide yours behind other boxes.
We're not talking about me right now.
You have a bag that you put them in, and you say that bag's been there the whole time.
What are you doing?
Yes,
why
we know.
Is that how it goes?
Why
told this story, mate?
Why are you doing this to me?
Yeah, he hides them in plain view.
Well, if I'm hiding them in plain view, is it really hiding?
Well, yes, it is. It's a form
really
of camouflage, isn't it?
Yeah, it's camouflage.
You've been honest. You never lied. You didn't say.
I'm an honest liar.
That's right there if you asked.
Your Honor.
So you live in the garage.
I remember having a conversation once. I had the garage open. My wife came home. She came in and said, "Oh wow, you're so adorable. You're so hot. I love you." And then she said, "Hey, how long have you had that?" And she was pointing. I was like, "Ooh, that's recent." But I went, "Babe, it's been there the whole time. Like, come on. Like, seriously." It's been there.
You could say I thought you were pointing at the box underneath that. So I didn't lie to you.
Which
I have noticed you guys pull the price tags off when you walk out of here. Have those? Yeah. We have noticed
and
that.
It's the old God help me if my wife ever sells my model kits for what I told her I paid for them.
That's the But look, it'll end up being a deceased estate and then sold for about the same price you bought it for.
You're really revealing a lot here, Jonathan.
Yeah, well, I used to shoot guns a lot, and at one stage I had 14 rifles and shotguns.
Officer.
And at 15, you have to have a centralized alarm system. And I had this massive gun safe, and I would go to a gun shop to go buy some ammo and buy another gun. And the good thing about it was my wife was not allowed to have access to the gun safe. Cops even trick you. They'll turn up if I'm not home, and they say, "Where's the gun safe?" And my wife's allowed to show them and point to it. And if they trick you and say, "Can we have the key?" And if she goes and gets the key, you are done, right? But there was also an advantage for me because she wasn't allowed to open it to look inside or anything. So she never knew at any point, and she didn't know what they looked like or whatever. So there was always a constant trading and swapping and buying more. And
I think at this stage we need to just determine the fact that you never actually went over that number, right?
No,
Jonathan?
no. I got to 14,
and
and
I
actually
in that safe, right?
And unlike modelling, I actually went, this is ridiculous, and got rid of most of them.
That and because we're not in Texas.
Yeah, but it's at the point where you just can't use them all. Whereas model building, you want to get your intentions are to get through your stash at some stage. You know,
you say that.
Wow,
you say that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're becoming collectors and not builders.
Hoarders,
usually.
Hoarders.
I have a stash.
I have a problem.
And I think it's just going to go from one deceased estate to another. Like, I was thinking about, you should just write down when you bought it, your name, and then you just see how many generations these sales will go.
Right on the inside of the box,
Actually,
on the lid.
Just be like, I had this kit, and you can see how many people, and then see the person who actually
you open the kit, and on the box it says, "My last will and testimony."
Just like,
I'm
hey
sure.
man, you could do it. Just encourage the next person. Like, hey man, you should actually build this kit. Just like, you have a problem. If you bought this kit, you've got issues, mate. You should probably finish this one.
I'm gonna start writing the inside.
And no doubt about it, one day our stashes will meet each other.
Yeah.
Our stashes will meet each other and go, "Hey, how you
At
going?"
the bottom of my kits, I'm going to start writing at the very, very bottom. So you take all the stuff. I go, "Oh, I'm really excited." It's going to say, "I've haunted this kit. I'm haunting you right now. I died 3 years ago."
No, but if it goes like anything the kits we have now, I've bought and never opened. So that note would be at the bottom.
Yeah.
And then it could be like me, the next person, the person after, and be like, hello.
I think that's a
We should write a
I'll have
note.
to start taking the lids off and write use by date in there for you.
How many of our kits are actually recycled? Like, I could have possibly bought any one of your kits.
You could have probably given me yours,
Hand-me-downs.
which I sold before.
Sorry about that.
Who knows?
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
So
we just made money off each other.
Pretty much.
Oh, no, we were doing that for a while. When I think for kits it was like, I can't remember what it was. It was like, I'll give you $30. But then you'd have to give me $30. It was just the same $30 just sitting in the middle going back and forth. So I don't really know who paid for what.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, that was a good time.
It's on Aquapay.
Yeah.
I don't even keep track of that, so I don't actually know what's on there. So you guys are lucky.
For those who don't know, we've got this thing called Aqua Pay, where Aqua pretty much has paid for everything, and we're like, we'll pay it back in installments. And yeah.
There was a time you were terrible with installments.
There was a time?
There was a... Look, we're doing better now.
We're doing better now.
Because Jeff's also on the payment plan. So.
I'm definitely on the payment plan.
There's some accountability.
Yes, I've been on it, and you have to sometimes be gently reminded that, I've got outstanding payments. Ooh.
Yeah, but I won't really remind you. I'm terrible with invoices in general. Like, I'll go to do work, and then like a month later, like, hey man, can you send us your invoice? I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. That's why I went to work.
Yep.
There's money.
Don't go down that one, because I've had invoices 3 months once for an invoice for a huge job I used to do, and went in there one day and things looked a bit panicked, and I was thinking, this is a bit odd. Went upstairs to speak to HR, and
Andrew, do you have a payment plan?
We've basically been shut down.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, thousands. I was owed thousands. Yeah.
Andrew, you have a payment plan?
Yeah, we do.
Andrew Pay.
Andrew Pay?
It's called. It's called actually a lay-by system. So you can do that sort of stuff.
Right.
Does that mean you hold the kit, or do I get to take it home?
Depending how well we know you.
All right. I pay in cuddles, Andrew.
I do. Yeah. I don't receive cuddles very well.
Invalid currency.
I'm not a good cuddler.
Don't worry, Jono is. It's all right.
I can't pay for petrol.
You're not so bad yourself.
But yeah, so I think we'll take a quick break.
Yep.
And have a bit of a drinky poos, and we'll come back.
All right.
But for everyone listening, this probably is you're already back already. All right, and we're back with Andrew from this short break. He got called away. Andrew, care to explain?
Thank you very much for that. We just had a bit of a track malfunction down there, being a very serious race going on. They're racing for, I think, who's paying for the next coffee. And so it's really high stakes down there, but one of the braids actually started to lift on the track, so we just re-glued it for them, get the race underway. Since some of the guys have travelled a fair distance, so we better get it going for them. So they're all fixed now.
When you say fair distance,
we've got two gentlemen down there at the moment that travel from Shepparton. So just over 2.5 hours to get here.
Don't say just a slot car race.
Just slot cars.
Ship stations, mate.
Effectively, it's grown men playing with toy cars. Okay,
just slot car.
Just slot car racing. Yes.
Look, I wish. I'm not here to offend. I mean, however you self-identify, whether you're an armor builder or a plane builder or slot car racer
or train nerd,
we take all kinds here. We're all accepting.
We blend together.
That's right.
But Andrew, you were saying that you've got build competitions here.
Yes, we have build comps here. Yep.
So how's that work, say, with a community?
Okay.
Do you have like a winner that just walks around, top best of show for the year? And
do you get a sash?
Parking and do you get like a pin saying I'm better?
Or a T-shirt?
I think it just goes up on Facebook, say, hey, this bloke's a winner. You're all losers. You all come second to this bloke here. That's all we do. But what we do is, my sick and weird sort of sense of humour. Generally, I organise it all, and the first one we did was a 52 Chev, I think it was. We all had exactly the same car, and there was 2 categories. Out of the box, perfect for Jeff, or highly modified.
Never going to let that go.
Never going to leave that down. That's right.
As well.
But when I say highly modified, you're allowed to import parts or chop and modify. But the out of the box, I can't believe some of these guys took it to the next level. One gentleman actually used every part in the box. He actually built the car, crashed it into a tree. But the actual tree was all the sprue melted down and twisted up to look like a tree. So... Of course, he won literally out of the box because he used everything out of the box.
Wow.
But that's
including said box?
Including said box was the base that he used. Yes, that's how far he took it. So
wow.
Genius.
Yeah.
Wow, next level, hold my beer.
Yes.
True definition of.
Oh, yes. And the second one we did was we all had the same aircraft, but we either got 1 aircraft or 2 aircraft. So if you got 2 exactly the same, some of these guys were building them up to fly in formation, paired them up on the ground, or if you've got 2 different countries, you sort of put them in dogfight. Myself, I built mine, my standard thing that I do, I put different numbers on each side of the plane to see if people notice and see how much information they sort of soak in. That's, again, my sick and weird sense of humour. So I actually broke the wings off it, broke bits and pieces off, embedded it in sand in a small fish tank, and then poured resin through it. So it actually looks like it's actually crashed and sort of underwater. And then I let it sit in the shed for 4 weeks, 5 weeks with a bit of dust building on it, so it looks like it's like a swamp effect on top of it. So, and I thought, well, I can't put mine in for judging because everyone's going to go, oh, look at that one, it's unbelievable. Look at it. I got, yeah, but it's not being judged.
Well, it's hard being the best at.
Oh, it is, but I just like to see the different techniques we've got from people and different painting skills and the different imagination to get that amongst people. And then when they look at what I do and they go, oh, that's just next level. Oh, well, come to my level. Come and play the way I like to play and don't use my sense of humour because there's going to be 2 of us and we don't want that. So
it's a very encouraging way to actually encouraging people to get to the next step.
Yep. And it's just to see what people do. Like one of the car kits we actually posted to Canberra and it was actually built, hand polished and brought back here and it looks better than my road car, the finish on it. So
wow.
You know, unbelievable what he did, but he said, I want to be involved in the next one. So what we do is we announce it when we have our Christmas party. I'm not going to release the date, but 23rd of November, we have a bit of a Christmas party here. All welcome. No, how do I put it? We do cater for vegetarians, but well, they can bring their own if they want. But we do have a good spread. We do have the fat man show up. We have a good day, make good fun of it, and we'll announce the next competition there.
Okay. So how long do you have to build?
Generally, we sort of start the competition in early December or mid-December, and we finish up Easter weekend. Well, so it gives plenty of time for those that like to take their time. Yes.
Okay.
But this one might be a little bit shorter because it's a figure painting competition this time.
Right. But it's going to take 4 months for everyone to get good at figure painting.
Well, that's exactly
I don't know how
right.
you are, but
I'm not. I'm not. If you have a look at some of my figures, they look great from about 40 metres away.
Hey.
Again, the same figure for everybody. Yeah?
Same figure for everybody.
What's the parameters? Can you judge from 40 metres away? Or
well,
do you have to be up close?
Well, we are
all the way up there.
It's like, hey man,
we are talking a Warhammer figure, so they're only 40 mil high.
Oh,
wow.
So they're not real big. So you might need to be about half a metre away
to
judge
do you have
them.
anyone that actually paints Warhammer? Because
yes, we have multiple amount of people. Thursday nights is literally a hand painting night. We either get one person in or 15 people in, just hand painting and sharing techniques, all that sort of stuff.
And how are you going to compete with that?
I'm not. I'm literally not, because I'm just going to hand them out and cook the barbecue and say, I'm done.
And that's on Thursday nights?
That's on a Thursday night. We do hand painting nights, yes. Right. Or there's a few people at airbrush and things like that, but it's just a quiet, relaxed night.
You actually have people over at your house
Yeah.
painting Dungeons and Dragons stuff, don't you?
I had some of the lads over. We play Dungeons and Dragons because we're nerds. But you gotta paint the thing. I did once though. I airbrushed a little figure because I was like, yeah, why not? And then I was masking and chopping, and I was like, you have clean edges. But then I was like,
yeah,
that was like my whole life painting this little guy with an airbrush. So I don't know how these but Warhammer, they have bigger pieces like the armor and stuff like that.
And there's it's impossible to count the amount of colours that they use on these because it's just shading all the way through. Where the only figure I ever painted was a Bunnings garden statue. And I actually put it into the sci-fi competition with it's a model of Ray.
Yeah, but it looks good.
It does look good, and good from a distance, but she's got the real evil eyes on it because I didn't get my eyes right. But my references are the Bunnings receipt, so that was good. And they looked at it and they went, "Oh, let's have a look." Oh, Andrew's put that in, and here we go. The Bunnings receipt. It's definitely Andrew. I know straight away.
But you shade that one? Or?
I 100% airbrushed the whole thing, so I masked it all up and did that. I've also done Darth Vader, and Darth Vader's downstairs. It's just in undercoat with a little bit of clear on it. That's all I've done. And everyone says, "Oh, that looks brilliant." I went, "No, it's just the amount of dust that's settled on it over the years, and it's just sitting there." So I've now got R2-D2 down there and one of the Scarif Troopers. I'll do those up as well. And the other thing I've got to announce for you too is we've got some new model kits being released. Armour Hobby is the brand. They're only new on the market. I'm pretty sure they're up to about 15 or 20 kits at the moment. So I don't know whether you might get a photo added to it. They're a 1/72 scale. They feature... some feature resin, small pieces. When I say very small pieces, you might get a tip of a propeller or something like that. There is your favourite part, the PE, in some of them. Fairly detailed for what they are. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand a couple of these over to you guys.
We've had a quick look at the sprues on a couple of the kits, and for the demographic they're at, they're actually quite good.
Very
molds.
detailed.
Yeah,
but it's like a it reminds me of like a Tamiya kit, but with more bits because you got the PE and stuff like that.
They're more of an entry level to photo etch as well as a bit of resin, so you get to have a go at it, and good for the younger generation to come through and go, oh, look at my plane, it's really detailed. Don't just use one colour on it. Go crazy on it. So,
I've had a look at the sprues, and they are quite detailed. But what I'm looking forward to is seeing how they fit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that will break or make the actual model itself.
Yep.
See how much sandpaper and Zappa gap you need.
Have to use,
Zappa gap's a favourite thing to use.
Yeah, but it's cool having like, a new brand on the market.
Yep.
It's like we're not just the same old from like forever and ever ago as they slowly declined. It's like, no, there is new. There is this hobby will last.
And we'll do an honest review as well if we don't like it.
Oh yeah, if you trash, mate, we'll let you know.
Be honest about it.
But any smart business takes that kind of feedback on board, don't they?
Hopefully. Well, that's one of the reasons why I'm going to hand it over to you, plain guys, because if that was a 172, it is a 172 scale, but if that was given to me, the amount of sanding I'm going to do to it is going to be less.
You'll be adding a lot
smaller and smaller and smaller as I build it.
It'll
just be like a prop.
100 and 112 or whatever.
It'll be a prop. That's all. That fits really well, guys, because
we'll give it a hot go.
You'll be adding more wheels and tracks to it. So we're going to say,
So what, out of the box is it? Do you have aftermarket for 72 like that?
Not yet.
Yeah, not for this. It's not a new company.
They're fairly new. They wouldn't have got that far, but they're providing their photo etch for you. But give them time. They're starting to do a couple of cars and a couple of other bits of armour, so we'll see what that's like. But
what's the armour,
and they are from...
I think they're Polish.
Dziękuję, yeah.
I'm not quite sure, but I will confirm that for you when you do your full build review. And see what you think of them. So,
actually, Andrew's shown me the range that they have, and they've got some interesting subjects that all the other brands don't usually look at.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a couple of planes that I've never heard of, so it's pretty good. Yeah,
it's saying something.
I did notice one of them was like Polish Air Force.
Makes sense now.
Yeah.
So it's actually So it's going to be like, again, it's like another one of those things where the more people come to the hobby, like you'll actually see something. Oh wow, Polish Air Force! Like I remember my dad was in Polish Air Force or something like that. And you're not excluding, it's like like especially the European
US or the UK models that
a lot of European folk will be like, you can only build so many Mustangs. Then you see something from Polish,
the standard from the Mustangs and Messerschmitts and
standard, Spitfires, like the.
Yeah, it's not just Russia, America, Germany.
What do you mean? They're the only countries in the world, mate.
Yeah, they're the only ones who've got military
according to
presence, haven't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I've never seen, and I've been looking for ever through catalogues, is anything from Singapore.
Yeah.
They have their own military, they have the whole lot, but there's no aircraft that's actually with Singapore markings on it.
What aircraft do they, what do they fly?
F-16.
Same as what we've got, F-16s, you've got F-18s over there.
So what, is it just a decal?
I've seen decal sets.
Yeah, there's decal, you've got to buy aftermarket stuff, yes.
But no one's out the box with those?
No, not out of the box, nothing.
What, is that deals that
I don't know.
Make,
don't know how it is. But
I remember talking to someone. They were talking about licensing or something like with camo patterns.
Yep.
So do you have the same deal?
I think there is one, like either a kinetic or not kinetic. I think someone will actually say in the comments below, like, no, actually, you're not. There's actually this was brought out in Singapore. But I think there is one or two that's actually brought out exclusively Singaporean.
Okay. Yeah, I've been over there looking for them. I found Malaysian planes over there, but not Singaporean planes. But aftermarket decal sets to go with them, yes, but not actual.
It's even rarer. It's if I'm still waiting for like a Philippine Air Force one, because my uncle and aunt actually served in.
Would that have a wok on the side of it?
Like
food delivery.
Pretty much.
I think Kitty Hawk came out with a kit that has a Philippine Air Force on it. It's a Texan. From Kitty Hawk? It's a 132.
A Texan?
Yeah.
I'm looking for a Bronco. Like
that'll be a really good build.
Because I actually got photos of my uncle like actually flying them and firing rockets out of them and stuff like that. So
that'd be great.
He had a personal photographer. Because of all the planes, they got him. Flying rockets. It's not bad. It's like, hey, I'm going to do something cool quick.
That's fame, isn't it?
I'd love to build one and send it to him.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
But it's just one of those things that, it's just one of those things that, Yeah, like the more people who come and actually say, I'm going to start making my own decals, or I'm going to start making my own kits and all the rest of it. Like there was a guy who made the Australian, well, not the Aslavs, they were the Bushmasters.
Bushmaster, yes.
Yeah, in 135.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's not doing nothing else anymore. Yes.
Didn't he have health issues or something?
Yeah. Some serious. I think it was heart issues. He had a bit of an issue, but he got something out and succeeded what he wanted to do.
Like
got that out and got them spread everywhere.
They're a hot commodity, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah. It's like,
and they still go for
no one
a
makes
lot of money, even secondhand.
Yep,
exactly right. So it's
Like, I was like, oh, that'd be a cool kit. I'll get it on. It's never on sale.
Yeah, and I saw a couple of times and I thought, no, I'll get that later. And it's like, it's one of those things where you should be getting it, and just at least stashing it away because they're going to be near on impossible.
But are you going to build it?
Hey?
Would you ever build it?
Yeah, I would.
In your lifetime?
Yes.
You sure?
Yes.
Is it just going to go back in the box?
No, I don't. I rarely ever put things back in the box. The only things I put back in the box is when I first got back in and I made the mistake of getting a lot of kits from a certain shop over Thomastown Way. And let's say that the fit was terrible. I mean, terrible on some of these real older kits. And I just go, no, I can't do this. So there's not enough putty to fill these gaps. I'll put them back in the box. And
Zapper, gap, and clamp.
They're under the stairs.
Yes, it's okay. Well, there is therapy. It's okay. We can help.
We know who hurt you. It's all right.
Yes, we know.
These kids, man. Well, I know better now. And even Greg, when I was always amazed at Greg, how these kits, they're this or they're that or they're this. Now I've got a much better understanding. Not so much in aircraft, but definitely armor. I go, oh no, I'm not touching those. That they were terrible fit in those ones, or Whereas now I know, Dragon of this era, or Tamiya of this era, or any of the others. I've got a better idea of what the quality's like at certain stages. Was when I first started out, I thought, this is awesome deal. Look at the price on that. I'm going to buy it. And then you realise why it's only $20 because it is an awful kit.
I saw the Tamiya Bulldog and I'm like, oh, that looks cool. Yeah. I want to build that. And then Greg's like, don't.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, Alexander built that.
Yeah, but so no one else has that kit? There isn't another Bulldog around?
Yeah. There is now.
Where?
I can't remember who it was that built it, but did see it.
It's got like 2 sprues in it, hasn't it?
What, is it new kit?
I'm not sure, but I did see it. I was like, oh, finally, someone's brought out a British Bulldog. A Walker Bulldog. It's like, finally, fantastic.
Hindsight's good. At least Greg knows what's good or not.
I hope I'm right. There is a Walker Bulldog out there.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be nice. Because I'd love to build it because they look cool. It's a cool looking tank.
Basically, there's a beefed up chassis.
I think the fact that I did the M48 pattern as my first model back into modelling, and it is actually a pretty basic kit, but it actually is a really good kit for how old it is. It actually is a
lot of There's a reason why a lot of the Tamiya old stuff still hold up today.
I've got some that are woeful. Like the fit is miles out. Absolutely terrible. And I don't think one's a Tiger 2 and another one's a British Chieftain and a Centurion. And I've done a dummy fit of some of the parts, and they don't even come close to lining up properly. I don't know whether they shrank from the 1970s, but
I think the general rule of thumb is that if there's slots along the bottom of the chassis for batteries or control stuff,
avoid them. I'm doing a Jag Tiger, and it comes with the motor and comes with everything. So I'm like,
okay, so it's designed for that.
This is exciting. It's got an electric motor. I'm like, not bad. And then I opened it, and I was like, oh.
Everything's one piece?
It's very old.
Yeah, very old.
Very old already.
Yeah, some of the old Tamiya kits actually were made for remote control or self-propelled units. So you go either way, and then you just got this big horrible hole in the bottom of them. And think, just put them down. No one's going to see the hole.
Yeah, the 2 holes down the bottom.
Yeah.
But I was like,
on off
that'd be cool because what you do the slot cars and you take the model.
Same thing.
I'm like, that'd be cool with the tank. It'd be fine by me.
Slot car tank racing.
That'd be mad.
That'd be awesome.
Because you have like the big scale, like 16 scale, and you can get those with motors. And like, where am I going to put that?
Yep.
But I'll take a 35 if I can slot car race that. Then that'd be
well, we actually have a gentleman who has built a space shuttle for the drag racing, his concerns are it comes out of the slot at the end of the track. I think it's something to do with the aerodynamics.
It gets a little height.
It does get a little bit of height. There is also someone that's done a tank to go down there as well.
Yeah, wow.
So we've got a in-house class. Again, part of my sense of humour. Bring whatever you bring is what you run, and you dial in your time and you go racing and see some of the things that are coming down this track. It's unbelievable to watch. And the imagination that's there, and you're playing my game now.
Yeah.
It's basically like the Moomba.
The Birdman Rally.
Birdman Rally.
Yes, yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, but have you ever built anything that fails?
Oh yeah, multiple times. So you just break it and you put in the broken diameter, like my sunken airplane. It didn't do what I wanted it to do, so I buried it in the water.
Fly?
No, I didn't want it to fly. I tried to literally cut the ailerons and to get them to open up and get it to sort of to bank to one side, and it failed, so I crashed it.
So instead of back of the box, you went.
Yeah, I crashed it. Yeah, I crashed it.
Diorama.
Yeah, even some of the cars I've made. I think I've done a few cars and I got the standard model of signature, your thumbprint and the paint. I think, I can't wait to put this together. Thumbprint, here we go. Another Mad Max car.
You don't sand it back or anything?
No. Turn them straight into Mad Max cars. Again,
Back in the dirt.
Back in the dirt, that's right. Yeah. You turn them all into Mad Max cars and away you go. You put all your leftover rubbish, stick it on the outside, and paint it black, and there's another Mad Max car.
Oh, so what, like kit bash, like that?
Yeah, literally kit bash.
Like really back to like Star Wars, and all that.
So scared of doing
Greeblies and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, not bad.
I've always wanted to do it.
That is a good build. Yeah, but look, I've been saying cars, and no one wants to do cars. Next one's helicopters, so at least do something other than a tank or a plane.
Rotary winged aircraft.
Rotary winged aircraft.
Yeah, helicopters.
Not helicopters.
That's what they're called.
We're doing a rotary
winged aircraft.
Winged aircraft.
Yes.
It's a fancy word for it.
Did you just learn something new today?
Yes.
I learned how to be.
And what was the other one? The plural of audience.
Rotary. What are they?
Winged aircraft.
Rotary winged aircraft.
And the I can't even say
singular.
The word. Singular of audience
is audience.
Audience. There you go.
We currently have
audience. Two things today. Wow.
What an educational day.
Today we're going to build the rotary winged aircraft.
For our audience.
For our
learn the singular of
audience.
Well, after a day of learning things, we have come to the end of the episode. It has been a great day. It's been great. Thank you for having us here. Thank you for welcoming us into your
Andrew.
Thank you
home
for coming.
away from home.
Yes.
Yeah, very blessed to be in this space.
Yeah, we appreciate very much what you've done for us.
That's good. As long as you enjoy it, all this works and encourages other people to the hobby, it's all we want to do.
Yep.
No worries.
Thank you for
everything.
everything.
Thank you for everything.
Literally everything.
Yeah, no problems at all.
Been awesome
Literally
for our first
Yep.
First
Our third time round.
First proper.
Yeah.
Third time round.
Been really good.
Thank you, Andrew.
Really good.
And thank you, boys. And hopefully we'll do the next one soon.
Thank you for listening to our third first.
Yeah.
Thank you. This is,
Can't wait till the second.
A second will be the furthest we've ever been, especially if we only do it once.
We got a special guest for next month too, haven't we?
I'll try and organise something.
Oh yeah, okay.
I'll
We'll keep that a secret, shall we? Yeah, okay.
We'll keep the same
That's if,
well.
but that's if we even have like a second episode. Who knows? We might just be one and done.
There's something in it.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see.
Let's wrap it up.
See.
All right, cool.
All right,
cool.
Thanks,
Beautiful.
guys.
Thanks very much.
See you later, boys.
Cheers. Bye.